Welcome to the Maroon and Gold Family Connection. My name is Kaylani Clark. I'm with the First Year Success Center professional staff, and we're here chatting today with Alex Butler, Sun Devil and First Year Success Coach.
Yes, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. And we're also here with Senior Director of Academic Advising of College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Casey Self.
Hi, how are you doing today? Great to be here.
Good, thank you, Casey. Thanks for being here. We're here today to talk about advising and class registration and to get advice on how to support your current Sun Devil in completing this important step. Casey, you've been helping students with class registration for many years now. What is your role as an advisor?
Sure. So academic advisors at Arizona State are all professional staff advisors. All faculty teach the classes, and so the advisors are all professional. I would say some of the primary goals of advisors, we first help the student try to determine what their personal goals and their professional career goals are. And then once they have that, a good idea of what they want to do there, then we look at the curriculum and the majors that are available at Arizona State and which major might be able to help them accomplish the career goals that they're looking for. So the advisors are also pretty well versed in all the curriculum, the major requirements, minor requirements, general studies requirements. So in terms of what the students are going to have to graduate with, the advisors can kind of help keep track of all of that as well. There are a number of resources that are available at ASU. One is the major map, which is basically an 8-semester, 4-year plan and in writing for every single major. And advisors are able to help students understand the major map and look at the major map. Although not every student's going to do it exactly as planned, it's a good guide to help students look at kind of what classes are going to be taken where. And then another tool is the degree audit reporting system. And that's probably more helpful after about 2 or 3 semesters. When students have completed a semester or two, they can start to see how their courses apply towards the degree requirements that they're taking. And now it starts to make more sense in all the different requirements that they have to fulfill. So advisors are helping students learn those resources and know what to do with them in terms of being able to finish degree requirements.
Well, thank you. That's very important for our students, for sure. Alex, as a first-year success coach, what would you say is your role in helping ASU students?
Yeah, so as my role as a first-year success coach, we serve as a connector, catalyst, and cheerleader for our students. And whatever their goals are when we meet with them, those are our goals as well. So if they want to do really well in a certain class or a certain semester, if they want to get involved on an on-campus job or off-campus job or possibly look for internships, we help guide them to those resources so that they can accomplish those goals.
Great. I'm so glad that you're able to do that with them. I'm sure that's very helpful for them. Yes. We know that advising season is here. Fall registration is quickly approaching. What would you say is the timeline for getting an appointment with an advisor and selecting classes?
Sure. So one thing is academic advisors are here all year round. And so from our standpoint, there's not really a season. We'd like to see students come in, and parents and guests as well, anytime they have questions. But in terms of the registration process, yeah, we're starting to gear up for summer and fall 2019 registration. So essentially, the schedule of classes online will be available. I think the summer schedule comes out February 5th, and the fall schedule comes out February 18th. And that's where students can go on to their ASU, the class schedule, and look and see what classes are available, what times. The registration period actually starts right at the end of February, beginning of March, and students should check their My ASU page to be able to see when they can actually go in and submit their registration request and be able to do that in a timely manner so that they get the best schedules that they're looking for. The month of March is the primary timeline that registration is taking place for fall especially. And so it's our goal as academic advisors, we'd like to see every student registered by the end of the month of March so that they've got their schedule and then they can move forward from there.
You mentioned that March is the prime time to be ready. Would you say, what would you say is so important about Sun Devils talking to their advisor early?
Sure. Usually what happens is when the schedule of classes comes out, like I said, that's when the students see, oh shoot, I got to get ready and go to register. Well, everybody's doing that at once, and so that's when the lines can get and the wait time can get a little bit longer. So if students are willing to come in now or in kind of a not so busy time, We can take longer with them. We can have more thorough discussions with them. We can still talk about classes. We're not going to necessarily talk about Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday schedules, but we're going to talk about what courses they need to look at registering at, and then be able to look at that on the class schedule when it comes out. But yeah, coming in early is a good idea because it does give them more time and it's less stressful on everybody.
And everybody wants to be less stressed,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so ASU's First Year Success Center empowers students to thrive inside and outside of the classroom. As a success coach, how can you help your peers in their academic path and preparing for registration?
Yes. So what we always do, if a student comes to us asking about registration, we always tell them to meet with their advisor first, so they know the classes that they need to take. And after that, when we meet with them, we like to see what works best with them. If by the time the schedules are open, let's say if a student doesn't want to have Friday classes and if it's available, we'll talk about that. Or if they are having if they're not really a morning person, have classes that are available around noontime. Overall, it really works best to the student's perspective to see how they want to do their day-to-day schedule. So.
It's definitely a team effort, it sounds like, between First Year Success Center and the advising offices.
Well, it's really good too because I think students they like it when they're talking with professional staff, but I think we always think they like to hear from their peers, and it's almost like they believe the peers sometimes a little bit more than they believe us. So,
Nice.
so it is a good team.
Good. I'm glad. What would you say is a common question that you get from students about how to guide them?
Sure. So especially as students progress, they're always looking to make sure that they're still kind of on track for graduation within 4 years, especially if they're on financial aid or scholarships or those types of things. They want to make sure that they're not going to be staying here more than 4 years. So planning for that, making sure that everything's going to be done in that timeline. Sometimes, especially for newer students that still aren't sure where buildings are, they'll be asking, what can I get from there to here in a certain amount of time? Which in general is not an issue, even though I know it's a big campus. Students learn the short, quick paths to different buildings. The students are always asking us to help them with possible career in terms of internships and things like that. Students are looking to study abroad and how that might apply and when can they study abroad and how that would apply to their curriculum. So those are some of the more common questions, and again, using the DARS and the major map and teaching students again how to use those so they can look at those on their own when they have the time.
I feel like with such a huge campus, there's so many opportunities, so you definitely have to advise and in all those different opportunities. After a student meets with an advisor about which classes to take, how can you help them as a peer coach?
Yes, so helping them as a coach, definitely we'll stress to register by your registration date. That's really important because in the event if you miss that and you register later on in the week and next coming days, there could be a chance that class that you met with your advisor could have filled up. So, and there's either you have to take it at a certain time, which maybe you have to take it on Fridays when you don't want to, or maybe you have to wake up, 8:30 on every other day. So we really, stress the importance of when your registration date occurs to register your classes on that date too. So.
Yeah, I think that goes back to being early, right? Kind of just getting ahead,
Yes.
taking advantage. Here's a two-part question for both of you. How can Sun Devil families support their students through the advising and class schedule process? And do you have any advice for parents if their students want to change their academic discipline or they just have a difference in opinion on the best path?
Sure. I think, first of all, and how can the Sun Devil families help their students, especially if they want to change? It is common for students, especially first-time freshmen, to potentially change their major. In fact, I think statistics tell us that over 50% of first-time freshmen will change their major at least once while they're here. And in most cases, that's just fine, and that's where academic advisors can help students be able to look at the different major requirements and see how far maybe they've progressed in that major already, or will it extend time to graduation. But I think it's always important for the student to think about their passion and their goals and what they really want to do, because if they're studying something that they don't want to be studying, that's a problem, and they're not going to do well. And I know sometimes in terms of what families can do is, one, let the students register themselves. The family members should not be doing the registration for them. And the family members also need to be in tune with what the student goals are. I know sometimes family members have goals or visions of a child becoming a doctor or something like that.
Expectations.
High expectations. But this is ultimately about the student and what they want to be doing and how they want to spend the rest of their life. And if they can find something that they're very passionate about and love doing, they're going to find a way to make a career in that and be able to be, somebody's going to pay them to do what they're passionate about eventually. So those are the advices I would give.
And then also adding to the point that what can parents do is whenever you're speaking with your child, asking them, tell me what you're learning in class right now, and are you enjoying that? And is that like something, are you feeling engaged in your classes and course of study? You'll learn so much from that as well. And honestly, from a student's perspective too, they'll be happy to tell you what they're learning about. So I think that's would be a great advice for parents to do. So.
And I think too, for the families to know the timelines, that's very helpful as well. So for example, students that are coming home for summer, ask your son or daughter, what are you registered for next semester? And if they can't tell you, or they tell you they're not registered yet, that's kind of a yellow flag, and to maybe help them know how important it is. In the fall, I always say by the time they come home for Thanksgiving, that's when I would really hope that they would be registered for classes starting in January, so that they know ahead of time what they're doing. So families can support us by knowing the general timelines.
Well, thank you both for that. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching, and good luck to your Sun Devils.